Lesson 2.4 is on factoring quadratics. Okay, so we talked about factoring by grouping or factoring using a box. And your homework says that you need to factor each problem completely and then show your work on how you checked your answer. So I'm going to we'll start with number 2 here. Okay, and it looks like this. Okay, so I have 21x squared minus 6x. And the first thing that I always want to do is see, is there a greatest common factor that I can pull out to make my problem and my numbers maybe a little bit smaller and less complicated. So I'm going to just walk through this with you. So 21 and 6, they have a common factor of 3. So I know that I can pull a 3 out, okay? But I also see that they share an x as well. The first term has 2 of them, the last term has 1. So I can take 1 away from both of them. 21 divided by 3 leaves 7, and then an x. 6 divided by the 3 leaves me with a minus 2, and I took away the x. So it looks like what I'm left with is this right here, 3x times 7x minus 2. And if you notice, the x that's left inside of the parentheses is linear. It's just x to the first power. So I actually don't need to factor that anymore. The only thing I want to check and make sure is that 7x and 2 are what we called relatively prime, meaning that they have nothing in common except 1. Okay, they can only have a 1 in common. And they do. So it actually looks like the problem's done. I pulled out the GCF and the problem's done for me. So this was one of the nice short ones. The last step that I have to do is show my work on checking my answer to make sure that I did pull out the correct GCF. So all I'm going to do is just redistribute and see if I get the original problem back. 3 times 7, 21, x times x, x squared. And then 3 times the negative 2 is negative 6, and then there's just an x. And sure enough, it does check out. So your answer is this thing here in the middle in the red and blue box. 3 times the quantity of 7x minus 2.